Hey everyone, this is Joe Hentges with Beyond the Chart. In this stock market update, I'm going to take a look at the Dow Industrials, the Russell 2000, the McClellan-Oscillator, three key ETFs, the Semiconductors, the Financials, and the Homebuilders. And then I'm going to drill in on the GDX, on the gold miners, GDX and NUGT, and why I think that 8-month move may have already ended or is about to end. So stay tuned. Grab your cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Okay, we're going to start off here with the Dow Industrials on daily chart, and you can see we're up 191 points after that big jobs report that came out, and everybody's like, really bullish about it and thinking it was looking great. Well, in reality, what we've been doing is we've been consolidating as we pull back here on the Dow Industrials. The SPX really consolidated sideways. The Dow kind of pulled back here to this 21 rising moving average. My moving average, this is a 233, 55, 21. I use Fibonacci numbers for my longer term simple moving average, and the blue is a 10 exponential. It's kind of like my trigger line. So right now it's going in the direction I'm anticipating to go in. I think that we're in the fifth intermediate wave, and that we've got 1, 2, working a third minor wave up, and that this is the wave count, and I'm going to continue to watch the wave count in here because you're all, you never know when an old market wants to just suck you in and do a switcheroo on you. Right now, the Russell 2000 looks like it wants to continue to move higher, and it's getting strong also. Now, it's not, the Dow and the S&P and now the NASDAQ are all at new highs, at all-time highs. Now, the Russell 2000 and the New York Composite have not gotten there. You can see that it's down here. I got a feeling what's going to happen is those major indices are going to keep pushing, and all of these indices are going to keep pushing, and maybe the Russell 2000 and the New York Composite just go to marginal new highs while the Dow and the S&P push a lot higher. So that's the wave count I've got on the Russell 2000. If you look at the Dow on a weekly basis, here's how it looks. I think we're in this channel. Actually, this has more to it than just what I'm showing you. That's why you're seeing other lines in here. But this is the rally since March 2009. I do think we're in this fifth wave and working that wave count all the way up in here, and it looks pretty bullish to me. There is one alternate count that I have on the Dow Industrials, but there's no point spending time on that right now in terms of a scenario. It doesn't really fit any of the other indices at this point. So right now, everything's tracking for push continued higher. The Russell 2000 on a weekly basis, you can see up 11.3 for the week, closed almost on its high. So it is really taking off. Now, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks up in a row. Nothing continues to go up every week. The Dow's had a little bit of that pullback we've been dealing with. Now, one thing I want to point out is, where is it? I'm looking for the indicator. The there it is. Okay, the McClellan-Oscillator. I have it on the, it's applied to the New York Composite. So right now, the reading on the McClellan-Oscillator is minus 15.5, okay? So we were down here to the severely oversold area, like we've been about 7 other times, since, back last year, okay, middle of last year. There's been numerous other times. There's a couple of times that it, got more extreme. But look at the times where it's bouncing off of this area in here, even since February. If you just say, look at February, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. This is the 8th time. Well, only really 2 other times did it get a lot more severe before it rallied and bounced. And here, the February, it went coast to coast. It went from deeply oversold to deeply overbought very quickly in like 3 days, and then just continued to push. So I'm really wondering, is something like that about to go on? So right now we're neutral in here. So we went from oversold. So even with 160 or 191 point rally on the Dow Industrials, we're still just right here in the neutral zone. We're basically neutral on the market. So there is plenty of room for this thing to keep trucking higher and to get severely overbought. Plenty of room. All right, let's take a look at the semiconductors. The semiconductors, I believe, is in the 5th final wave also. in that we're working a wave count here of 1, 2, and we're in the third intermediate. Where do I think the third minor wave in here is pushing up here? Well, we've already got it, and then 4. I think the third intermediate wave is going to be up here around 68 before we then, probably, well, let's see, this was almost looks like a little bit of a flat that we had in here. We may get a sharp correction back to 62, 63 after we hit this 68 area. So right now, semiconductors continue to look bullish, looking like they're pushing higher. Home builders, not so much. They're not doing a whole lot yet. Here's the all-time high in home builders. Here's this longer-term trend line I've talked about before. So not so much there. The financials, they've been hugging this trend line. And now they've, out of this consolidation, this little pull down here on, what was that, Tuesday, it looks like? Yes, it was Tuesday. And then we rallied back, and then look how it's exploded out of this congestion. It looks like it wants to go. So that's the picture on the financial, on that, of those 3 key ETFs I like to look at every week. Now I'm going to take a look at GDX, the gold miners. All right, so the gold miners have been in a very strong rally since, actually on GDX, since January, mid-January. And here we are in August. I think we've got 5 waves up. This last 5th wave is like a broadening diagonal in here. You can just see a series of 3 waves going on. And the interesting thing I noted about this is when you look at the volume on the gold miners, and I'll show it on NUGT in a minute too, from, let me get my crosshairs, from this point, where is it? This right in here is where the 50-day moving average of volume peaked, okay? So from here to here, so you can see I've got a label, the 50-day moving average has dropped by 18% in terms of volume. So as this has continued to rally, it's continued to do so on less and less volume as it's pushed higher. So it's starting to run out of gas. I believe that we've had 5th waves. This got a little messy down in here, but I do believe we've had 5th wave. And we're getting divergence on the various indicators, especially RSI, with this last little move within the 5th wave. So I think this is ready to at least take a rest for a while, pull back, maybe down into this 4th wave. Typically, you get corrections back into the 4th wave. So that's what I am going to be watching for. And it seems like I've seen some resistance too, although I don't have it. When you look at where is this, it's running into this point right in here where the rally had petered out back in August of 2013. So that's like 3 years ago. So that is interesting. But it's had one heck of a run, fairly steep. Wouldn't be unusual to see this thing pull back right now, and that's what I'm expecting. All right, let's take a look at NUGT. NUGT, the wave count, I'm going with the same type thing. Really, the NUGT is based on GDX. They just use 3 times the power to get the same thing done. Now, when you look at the volume in here, the volume has dropped off on NUGT even more dramatically, and actually a little earlier in here with the peak. It's dropped 44% in the last almost 3 to 5 months. Yeah, from mid-March to almost mid-August, it's dropped 44%. So this entire move up in here has really done it on a lot less volume. And I'm going to go by the wave count that I've got on GDX. But this still looks like it's topping out and looks like it's getting ready to come back down. Let's take a look. You can see the divergence showing up here. It's shown up a couple of times, but anyway, that's the picture on NUGT and GDX, and we'll see how that plays out. I know gold dropped pretty good whack on Friday. We'll see what kind of continuation we get. Let me go back to GDX. There we go. That's the picture on GDX. All right, that's it for today. If you felt the video was helpful, please share it, like it. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. And if you're watching this anywhere else but my website, head on over to the website. first name and email gets you fill out that little form right there, get you on my list, on my email list, where you get updates and you get the free PDF I've got for you. What Paul Tudor Jones calls the 5 essentials for anyone interested in the trading business. So check that out. Anyway, everyone have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on the next video.